$2.4 billion. That's the staggering amount at the heart of what's being called the biggest financial crime in Illinois history. But what does that number really mean for the people of the state? To understand the true impact, we need to dig deep into the story of where that money came from, how it was taken, and who suffered because of it. The year was 2012. The state of Illinois was facing a budget crisis so severe that it threatened to shut down vital public services. Amidst this chaos, a group of well-connected insiders saw an opportunity to line their own pockets. They hatch a plan to siphon off millions in taxpayer dollars through a complex web of fraud and deceit. At the center of the scheme was a company called Christine Consulting Services, owned by the enigmatic Christine Roussel. Over the course of several years, Roussel's company received more than $20 million in state contracts for services that were never provided. The money instead went straight into the pockets of Roussel and her associates, who used it to fund the lavish lifestyle of luxury cars, exotic vacations, and high-end real estate. But the impact of this financial crime goes far beyond the ill-gotten gains of a few greedy individuals. The loss of $20 million in state funds meant that vital services for Illinois residents went unmet. Children went without access to critical healthcare programs. Senior citizens were left without support services they needed to stay safe and healthy, and the most vulnerable members of our society suffered the most as a result. The full story of this financial crime is still unfolding, with new details emerging all the time. But one thing is already clear: the impact of this crime will be felt for years to come. As investigators work to unravel the complex web of fraud and deceit, the people of Illinois are left to grapple with the devastating consequences. And the question remains, how could this have happened? How did a group of insiders manage to steal millions from the state without anyone noticing? In the coming episodes, we'll explore these questions and more as we follow the money trail. We'll speak with experts in finance, law enforcement, and government to understand how this crime was allowed to happen and what can be done to prevent it from happening again. Along the way, we'll shine a light on the human cost of financial crime and remind ourselves why it's so important to hold those responsible accountable for their actions. So join us as we embark on this journey into the world of hidden financial history. Together, we'll uncover the truths behind the biggest financial crime in Illinois history and explore the impact it has had on the people of this state. As we delve into the biggest financial crime in Illinois history, let's first examine the key players involved. At the heart of this sordid tale is R. Allen Stanford, a once celebrated financier who built an empire on the backs of hardworking Americans. Stanford's scheme centered around Stanford International Bank, located in Antigua and Barbuda, which attracted investors with promises of impressive returns through high-yielding certificates of deposit. However, unbeknownst to these unsuspecting victims, their money wasn't being invested wisely. Instead, it was used to fund a lavish lifestyle for Stanford and his associates. The scale of this fraudulent activity is staggering. Over $7 billion in investor funds were misappropriated between 1985 and 2009. Laura Pendergast Holt, Stanford's chief investment officer, played a crucial role in the scheme. She oversaw the investment of billions of dollars in assets and was responsible for providing false reports to investors regarding the bank's financial health. In 2010, she pleaded guilty to conspiracy to obstruct an SEC investigation and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Another key figure is Leroy King, Antigua's former chief financial regulator. King received bribes from Stanford in exchange for turning a blind eye to the bank's fraudulent activities. He was later convicted on conspiracy charges and sentenced to 5 years in prison. But this crime wasn't just perpetrated by a few bad actors. It also involved major financial institutions like the Chicago-based Credit Suisse. This bank helped